Alright students, fine, girls and boys, ladies and gentlemen, a very special good evening to one and all. We welcome you all at the day 26 of our full stack web development series. Good evening Rakesh, yeah, good, thank you, and good evening others as well. Alright students, fine. It's been 5 days that we have met. The day 25 was last week Tuesday, and Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, as we had mentioned, to bring some reformations. We will be coming up with those changes, reformations soon to you. It's still under construction, so we are working upon it. Alright, fine. Okay, let's have a quick recap of what we have learned at day 25. It was object-oriented programming once again, and we had put up all the concept into one single program. We also learned at day 25 the concept of encapsulation and polymorphism. If you have remembered, I told you that abstraction we would be covering up exclusively and in detail under Python. Is that okay? All of us? Fine. Now before I could continue ahead, since people are yet left to join here, anyways, even for all those who have already joined, what's the status at your end? Like what you have been doing these days? Like, were you on for practicing? Did you give your hands on the different programs, or one assignment file that we had forwarded to the group? How is your concept of loops going on? What about object-oriented programming? How these are going on? Fine, keep posting to us in the chat section. And one more thing before we could go ahead, during these days when we had no classes, we came across some messages from you. Some of them we could reply, some of them we could not reach. Okay, all those WhatsApp messages that CodeArk has not replied you, me or CodeArk has not replied you, only for the reason we were too occupied with the duties. We will come to them back very soon. Alright people, fine. So this is day 26 we are at, and several inbuilt concepts of JavaScript that we will be discussing. This is part 1. This is going to take a time. JavaScript, math, Boolean, number, date objects. When this 4 objects complete, we will end up coding a digital clock on the web page. You understand how digital clock looks like? Like it's continuously ticking or changing the time in terms of second, minutes and hour. I hope you understood. Fine. This series we will start with JavaScript math object first, trying to understand what is the math object, trying to understand what are the inbuilt functions this object has got us to offer. Is that okay? All of us here back? Take it. So here we go, people. Okay, Visual Studio Code already here. Take a sample program for help. I have kept it coded. Since we have a lot of time yet, let me code a new JavaScript file. So let me say day 26 program, okay, program1.js. Good evening everyone, please good evening. Okay, in our HTML program I link the same JavaScript file. That's program 1, alright. Why it is not showing? Okay, let me try again. Day 26 pr1.js. Anyways, fine. Okay, coming back here, people. See, I write document.write. Okay, document.write. If you just type math, okay, you see it gives you a lot of ideas what all you can do with this inbuilt object of math. Alright, first of all, math is JavaScript's inbuilt object, you can say, or an object derived from a math class, inbuilt class, which allows you to play with a lot of mathematical operations. I put up the point one more time, or let me write it up here in the comment. It's a very basic topic. It's a very easy thing to understand, in fact, as compared to object-oriented programming, especially what we have studied in the in very recent. ठीक है. बट समटाइम्स दिस कम्स एज अ ब्लेसिंग इन डिस्गाइज. कभी कभी हेल्प करता है तो यही हेल्प करके जाता है. ये सारे उसके इनबिल्ट फंक्शंस. ओके, सो मैथ इज जावास्क्रिप्ट्स inbuilt object. Alright, when I say object, means object derived from inbuilt class math. Okay, inbuilt class math means you don't have to build this class. This class is already built. You just have to use it and its object. Clear? Let me show you how. We say math dot I want to find a square root of a number. Checked. It's a square root of 4. Have patience, I'm coming to them one by one. I just save this and I run this program in a live server. Okay, keep your doubts, jot it down. We'll come to them very soon. Okay, so it says me 2. Alright, square root of 4, that is 2. No, you don't want square root. Come on, you don't want square root, you want instead cube root. Okay, so let me write CB. Could you see that? CBRT. Okay, and if I'm not wrong, this is the way we have created classes, their objects, and this is how the object use the method of the class, correct? Is that okay? For example, if you have a class animal, come on, if you have that's the reason we did object oriented programming first. Hello boys and girls, इसके लिए हमने object oriented programming पहले किया ताकि आज आप समझ सके there are some inbuilt objects and classes also which you don't have to code. JavaScript provide you as a gift of platter. Alright, so there are certain methods, there are certain property, there is some constructor here, and this is how we create. A1 is equals to say animal or new animal, whatever you do that, correct? Okay, now suppose there is a function in animal called as display. So A1 has full right to use display. How do you do that? A1 dot display, correct? Now A1 has full authority and right to use the function of the parent class from whom it is derived. That is display. Okay, the same thing we are doing here. The only difference is we are calling this, instead of A1, A2, we are calling it directly by the class name, that is math. Okay, so math dot cube root, math dot square root, all this cube root, square root, log, power, round, trunk, all these are coming up one by one. These all are inbuilt methods. See the method like we have defined here. ये सारे के सारे are inbuilt methods defined in this inbuilt class called as math. Alright, you call it as a class, you call it as an object, these are interchangeable terms here. Okay, so math is an inbuilt class whose functions you are using directly with that class name as an object. Okay, let me know in the chat section if it still sound confusing. I'll see how can I make you even better to be understood. Alright, fine. So imagine how the prototype would be working behind. ये सारा code पीछे कैसे काम करता होगा. Imagine. Okay, so this is a class math. Okay, this is a class math. Alright, so there is a function here called as a square root. Okay, in which we have defined how to find the square root of a number. Then in this class there is a function called as cube root. Then inside we might have defined how to find the cube of this number and so on. Okay, so this way you will find around so many functions present in this math class, so many of them. Alright, this is a simple table I have kept prepared as a documentation. Absolute as one of the function. Okay, we may not try all of them, हम सब try नहीं करने वाले हैं. In fact, those which are most frequently used, like absolute. Alright, cube root, we already tried. Ceiling, then will come floor somewhere down. Cos, hyperbolic cos, exponent, floor. So moral of the story is we don't have to define these methods, boys. JavaScript में ये सब functions आपको बनाना नहीं पड़ता है. Inbuilt object है या inbuilt class का inbuilt object है math. You just have to use that. Clear? Fine. Okay. Let's try some more, please. Let's try some more then. Let's try some more. I erase this rough code. Not required. Okay. Fine. So, acha, cube root of not 4. Let me take cube root of 16. Does 16 have a cube root? 4? No, not 60. 64. Okay, 64 because 64 has a cube root 4. Let's check what it shows. Okay, it shows 4 here. Okay, if you're confused, so do not forget to give break. Come on, do not forget to give break. Come on, I hope you're enjoying. Check. Yes, do not forget to give break here. Alright, fine. So similarly, if you want, you can also say document.write. Document.write. Math dot say power, POW power, something raised to something, x raised to the power y. So I want to find out what is 3 raised to the power 4, 4th power of 3, so 3 comma 4. Is that clear? Fine, 3 comma 4, and this is what it says, 81, correct? 3 3s are 9, 9 3s are 27, and 27 into 3, product is 81. Right, so once again this is inbuilt function of the class math. Clear? Neither this class we have defined nor the objects inside the class we have defined. This all comes as inbuilt methods with inbuilt class under JavaScript. Alright, fine. Okay, I keep it copied just for our flexibility. Pasting. Now instead of power, let me use another function. Let's say round. Check what is the difference between round and truncate. Come on, two analogous functions it provides. One is round, another is truncate. But if I write 8.9, yeah, we all guess this correct. It will round it to nearest number, or that is 9. Okay, so rounded to 9. Check the last output on the page. Hi everyone, please check the last output on the page. It has rounded to 9. Okay, but if I say 8.1 rounding to 8, but instead of round, if I end up using trunk, hi people, if I end up using trunk, let me see if you can guess the difference, people. Okay, still returned 8, still return 8, and suppose if I try to truncate 8.9, इसको round किया होता तो it would have displayed 9 to us, correct? We just tried up just couple of seconds ago. If 8.9 it was attempted to be rounded, the rounded figure was 9, but now you are trying to truncate it. It still returns you the answer as 8, because truncate only returns the integer part of the number. Are you getting it? Fine, say in the price, I don't want to round the price, I just want to get the integer part of the number. From the final bill amount, I don't want to round the amount, I don't want to round the percentage, I don't want to round your final score. 8.6 should be 8.6 or some 8, something like that. I just want the integer part of it. Correct? Yep, Shiraz has answered, I think. So that is 8 again, because 8 is the only integer part of this number. Even if it is 8.999999, very close to 9 on a number scale, no, but the integer part is still 8. Is that correct? So there is no difference in the answer here. Integer part is 8. People, एक छोटे function आपको याद रखना पड़ेगा. This comes very helpful and handy in several mathematical or transactional operations. Understood? Especially when you're working on end projects. Alright, and you have to deal with this kind of scenario, like convert something into integer and then take only the integer part of it, ignore the floating part. Kab round use karna hai, when to round, when to truncate, when to take the floor, when to take the ceiling, etc. Alright, we are talking about floor and ceiling, so let's experiment it, please. Although we might have done floor ceiling some time back, All our friends who have joined us late, we are learning some math functions of JavaScript. Math is an inbuilt class in JavaScript, and this class offers a variety of methods like this. Alright, fine. We aren't talking about all these 20, 30, 40 functions which are present in the math class, but those who are very frequently used or which are meaningful to us, especially from the project point of view. जो project of point of view से important है वो. Alright, it's showing 9. Which one? Shreyas, you're talking about home. No. If you're using POW, then make sure that 8,9 it is. Okay, should I do that? If that is your doubt, Shreyas. Yeah, correct. So that is right. If you try to round, then it is 9. I hope you understood that. Correct. Alright, ठीक है चलिए बहुत काम करना है आज. So document.write again. Okay, or instead of that, let me just paste it, please. This time not truncate, this time floor. I'm little fast at floor and ceiling because we already know the use of that. Okay, we already know the use of it. Even if you are aware, even if you're aware, people, can I have one rough file? Just a moment, please. Okay, just a moment, please. Fine. So this is a whole number 9. This is a whole number 10. And in between, I take any number. Let's take 9.6. Alright. So let me say the closest integer whole number. The closest whole number on the left side of the scale, that is the floor. And the closest whole number on the right side of the number scale, that is the ceiling. Right? I might not sound technically perfect, but this is what is the logical meaning. Am I right? हो सकता है ये technical definition आपकी bookish तरीके की ना हो, but this is the only meaning of floor and ceiling. Left side, the nearest left neighbor who is the whole number, and nearest right neighbor who is the whole number. So the nearest left neighbor is 9 because the whole number could be 8 also. Whole number तो फिर 7 भी है. No, but the 9.6 in nearest neighbor is 9. Correct? That's the reason this becomes a floor. People, this is the floor and this is the ceiling. Alright? Find the nearest neighbor on the right side of the scale. But the neighbor should be a whole number. Because neighbor तो फिर 9.6 का 9.7 भी है. Guys, correct? But 9.7 is a whole number or what? Am I right? Is 9.7 a whole number or what? No. So the nearest whole number or the closest neighbor who is the whole number on the right side, that is the ceiling. Correct. Fine. So that's what you are trying to find out. The ceiling, floor of 8 is 8. Okay, let me use some another number. Let's say 18.1. So it is still 18. But if I try to take instead of floor, if I try to work with a ceil value, so that is 90. Is that okay? Okay, there is another weird function. You might find it a little tricky to use. Say exponent. Could you see that? EXP people. Exponent. You just have to pass one argument to this function. Suppose I have passed 3. Okay, I have passed 3. First of all, EXP is a function of math. Okay, and it accepts an argument and returns the argument as Euler's power. Okay, now what is this Euler power, people? Euler is a constant. I have written this constant here. Okay, let me paste it here. Okay, people, it returns. Okay, returns e raised to the power, which is an argument. Okay, suppose you have passed argument as 3. So e raised to the power 3, where who is e? E is a constant. It is called as a Euler number and whose value is approximately 2.71. Round it up, please. Understood? You won't require this constant unless you are actually working on a too physical or some gravity based project or the concept. We understand constant, right? The way we say pi is a constant, that is 3.14, or small g for gravity is a constant, 9.18. Is that okay? Fine. That is what is the meaning of the E here. E is a Euler number, that's called as a constant, and the value of E is always 2.71. Round it up to here, up to the 2 precision. So if you have passed 3, that means 2.71 raised to the power 3. And if I write here, suppose 23, that means 2.71 raised to the power 23. It's a big exponent number, exponentiation. उसका आंसर भी आपको कभी कभी ई में दिखाता है, मतलब ये एक्सपोनेंशियल पावर है. Okay, so this is how it works. Let me write a small number, that is 2. Okay, so this is what it shows. Something 2.71 into 2.71, blah blah blah. Alright, you can later check on your scientific cal, see answer is right or not. But this is how exponent is used for. Sometimes this is a kind of interview question as well, like difference between power. Difference between power and exponent. Try to understand. Both of them are used to raise something to the power of something. But in exponent, base is always constant. That is a Euler number. Is that okay? The base is always constant. Power function में base भी हम देते हैं, power भी हम ही बताते हैं. यहाँ पर भाई base constant है, that is 2.71, which is a constant Euler number. Alright, fine. Now since you haven't raised any question in the chat section, I assume that you are understanding, and we move ahead from here. यहाँ से आगे बढ़ते हैं. चलिए, one more function under math, which is again very handy, that is, let me say, log. Okay, log, people, log to the power, let me say log to the base 10, log to the base 2 also they provide, log to the base 10, e, again e for exponent here. But we are going to use only log, not beyond that. People, logarithm, to take some logarithmic value. Let's say I want to find the log of 2. Okay, let me say 2. Fine, something like that. Log of 21, something like that, etc, etc. I hope you got my point. Unfortunately, okay, we do not have any function called as anti-log here. For those who are under the impression कि भाई log है तो फिर math आपको anti-log भी provide करता होगा. No, it provides you only as a solution, that is log. Alright, all of us, right? You want answer in log to the base 10. Okay, fine. 4. Okay, fine. Something like that. Okay, fine. Alright. Another important function which we might end up frequently using ahead, that is ABS, which stands for absolute value. Alright, absolute. Now if I write -3, we understand absolute values, right? If you could go back your school memories, people, 1 minute please. We used to write something like this inside the modulus, -4 as 4. Why? Because the absolute value of -4 is still 4. I hope I'm right, guys. Correct? If you could remember what is an absolute value. Right? For example, starting from the point where I'm sitting right now, I start walking right, and another person, say Navin, he starts walking left, and we both covered up 4 kilometers. He says +4, I write -4. But magnitude is still 4. We both walked 4 kilometers. That plus and minus only denote the direction, correct? He says +x, maybe that is right. I said -4, that means because it is left. Is that okay? So +4 हो या -4 हो, भाई चले तो हम दोनों भी 4 किलोमीटर. The magnitude is still 4. That plus or minus with the number is only showing the direction. Therefore, absolute value under this mod is 4 only. Correct? Fine. So try this way. I'm sorry for that. चलिए absolute value of -3. I'm sorry, where it is gone. Okay, that is 3. Absolute value of -30. That's 30. And if you try to do something like this, people, absolute value of a string. So the string is the code arc. Or you write anything as a string, hi, hello, bye, etc. Okay, it says nan. Sorry, we cannot find the absolute value of the string because it is not a number. Not a number. Similarly, if you write something that is null, absolute value of null, अगर आप ऐसे करने की भी कोशिश करोगे, no, it says 0, not possible. And at least not a number, it says. It doesn't return me the flag nan, but it says me 0. Guys, you have to be clear about it. Especially in the MCQ kind of questions, right? This is the code. Find out what will be the absolute value of 0. You understood? What is the absolute? Of course, 0 is not negative or positive. So that is 0 only. And even if you attempt to write here negative, that is 0 only again. You got my point? But in neither I write negative nor I write positive. I write simply null. So null ka absolute value, you see, it also says me it is 0. And if I end up writing any string, acha, what about now? 10. How about now? Hello guys, how about now? Instead of writing any number, I write some expression here. Say 10 minus 7. So that is 3. But if I write like this, 7 minus 10, I know this is -3, but it still returns me answer as 3. Because whatever was the value from this expression, we have converted into modulus, correct? That is how it is working. Absolute values. Right, so the different ways in which you can use the absolute values. Fine. You make use of this in terms of some did I copy that? Okay. Trigonometric ratios like cosine. People cosine. Say I want to find the cos 45. Okay, so this is what it returns. People try to understand this is in radians, not in degrees. Okay, we all might be under the impression by 1045 1 by root 2 या 1 by root 3 ऐसा कुछ देगा. Cos 90 0 देगा, sin 90 मुझे 1 बताएगा. No, but because when you write mathematically or algebraically, वो जब algebra में हम लिखते थे cos of 90, that 90 used to be 90 degrees. Alright, now when I write cos of 90, it's not going to consider 90 as degree, it considers 90 as a radian. And if you are so bothered, आपको इतनी चिंता है, तो you should convert this degrees to radians to degree first by multiplying it or dividing it by 180. I hope I'm right. Is that okay? Divide it by 180 if you want to convert it into radians, or multiply if you want to convert it into degrees, and so on. In fact, take it as a question for programming. Accept input from the user in radian and return the answer in degree. It's a very common question. Most beginner practice. Alright, take input from the user, the angle of a triangle, or let me say angle of a circle, not triangle, but a circle from inclined from its center to one of the point. Alright, take any angle for a circle or for an ellipse or for a hyperbola, take it in radian and convert it into degrees. Similarly, input temperature in degrees and convert into Fahrenheit. Alright, make one currency kind of application. Currency application, like take input from user in dollar and convert that amount into rupees. In fact, you generate that currency converter. Again, it's a very common app. Again, many beginners practice it for the purpose of learning logic. Currency converter. You have to provide the two select boxes. Remember, in HTML forms we learned how to create a select box. Okay, so select the rupees, or let me say select the currency you want to enter in. Okay, so I want to convert from dollar to pound, or maybe from pound to rupees, or maybe from rupees to some other. Right, so this way, try to see how it works. ठीक है. So this is what I wanted to say. ये जो आप लिखते हो भाई वो रेडियंस है. So do not expect the way we study in the trigonometric table, the answer will also be the same here. Okay, similarly like the way it has cos, try with tan, try with sine and so on. Okay, if you see the table of inbuilt functions here, आप inbuilt functions की अगर table देखोगे तो say a cos also it provides, not only cos but a cos. That is not cosine, that's an arc cosine. Alright, somewhere you will have hyperbolic cosine. Hyperbolic, people, that is the way, you know, we measure the angles on a hyperbola point. Is it okay? But once again we don't need to be, you know, so much cautious about them. हम कभी भी cos और sin भी use करेंगे, chances कम है. That again depends upon the nature of your project and so on. Alright, fine. Alright, we got what is the meaning of floor, we got what is the meaning of exponent, cos. Okay, minimum, maximum. In fact, it saves a lot of coding by providing you who is the least of the two number or more than two number. Let's try this. Let's try this. Okay, so if I say, tell me minimum among a, sorry, not a, 10, 20. Okay, so that is 10. Simple to understand. 50 and minus 3. So that is minus 3. Is that okay? So that returns us the minimum of all the available values. Right? This way you can pass an entire array as an object. You can take input from the user and pass them all. Alright, because if you sit to arrange the numbers in this way or find the minimum of them, we actually have to run the for loop upon them. Correct? Similarly, min, instead of min, if I write here max, okay, so maximum of them is 50. Minimum of them, if it was minus 3, maximum of them is 50. Is that okay? I think simple to understand. Rest, log, max, minimum, power, you all have got it, people. This is another important function, random. Random, people, random. यहाँ पर जो हम random use कर रहे हैं, hello guys, this random which we are using is going to select any random number between 0 to 1. Alright, now this comes to be really very, very handy if you are working on some, you know, OTP generator kind of app. Okay, so I want to generate a number that is will be the OTP. Yeah, so you generate any number between 0 to 1 multiplied by 100, or if you want a 4-digit number multiplied by 1000, multiplied by 10,000, like this, check. And return it as an OTP. Okay, आगे जाकर हम लोग कोई प्रोजेक्ट अगर बनाते हैं और उसमें OTP जनरेट करना हुआ, हाँ, तो you can actually take help of this function .random. Once check it out how. Okay, I just write it here. Let me give enough breaks. 1 minute. Okay, let me give some enough breaks. Okay, so this is the number it has generated, 0.5252. I hope you got my point. Again take it. Run this again. Acha, sorry, that was cos. We have not used random yet. So let me say random. Okay, just random. Just random. You don't have to pass anything as an argument here. Okay. So this is a number between 0 to 1 that it has generated. Again, if you could save and refresh. See, every time I refresh, every time you see it's a different number. Because this is randomly selecting any number between 0 to 1. Am I right? Randomly it is selecting any number between 0 to 1. So if I want, let me multiply it by 1000. So that it got shifted to 3 digits because it was 0 point, right? And if I multiply it by adding one more 0, is that correct? And suppose I don't want OTP as a floating point number, so never mind. This entirely you say math dot trunk. enclose it in a bracket. I hope you got my point. That is 8267. Could you please put me in the chat section? Is that understood? Why? Because this expression I have put it as an argument to math.trunc. And we have recently seen above what does this truncate function does. Boys and girls, are you understanding? In case if my project has to generate an OTP, 4-digit number as an OTP, 6-digit number as an OTP. Correct? हाँ तो multiply it by so many times of the number of zeros. Keep on adding, multiply it. और truncate कर दीजिए. Round करते तो भी चलता था. आपने rounding किया होता तो भी चलता था. Floor value लिया होता तो भी चलता था. I truncated it so that it can take only integer part. Alright, so this is what is 8267 I generated. If I could refresh it, refresh it, refresh it, refresh it, refresh it. Alright, and then if I add one more 0 here, save this, you could see this is a 5-digit number that I consider it as an OTP. Is that okay? Well, sometime while playing game, sometime while playing game like a racing game, the app automatically generates some random code. And then we give those codes to the players. You just have to enter those code and enter the game. Alright, so this is how we can generate those kind of unique codes or some secret numbers or some random numbers using math.random. Guys, I wait here since last 40 minutes. I'm continuously speaking. Would like you people also to put in your feedback. Are you understanding or not? आप समझ रहे math.random का काम क्या है? Actually how it has been using to generate those random numbers. Alright, all these OTPs that we find to be using, or that sometimes we use captcha code, correct? आपको बताता है captcha code enter करिए. The difference is captcha doesn't make use of only random, because captcha comes in series of sometime alphabets and numbers. उसके लिए हमको और logic आगे build करना पड़ेगा. Is that okay? As of now till here it is clear, right? Please put in your chat section. Rakesh, Shreyas, Navin and others who are here also. No? Still not? Okay, square root we have seen, 10 we have seen, truncate we have seen, and so on. Alright, all of us here. Fine. ठीक है. If this was let me say the math object, let us see another inbuilt object of JavaScript, that is the Boolean object. Okay, that is the Boolean object. Okay, this is simple to understand. In fact, even if you just write like this, document.write 10 greater than 9. Understood? No, because you have not put up in the code, it is not going to print this. In fact, it is going to check whether 10 is greater than 9. Correct? Up until now, अब तक का हमने ऐसा सिर्फ if else में कई condition में लिखा है. Correct? Is 10 greater than 9, or if 10 greater than 9, do this or else do that. If 10 divisible by 9, do this or do that. If 10 is equal to 9, do this or do that. But we have never attempted to print what if 10 is greater than 9. Correct? So let me say save. Come here. Okay, it says me true. Okay, to give a little clear picture, let me give a break first here and concatenate this part. Still not. Why so? Correct? So that's false. I hope you understood why. Because 10 is not greater than 9. This is what is called as a Boolean index, people, or the Boolean object. Alright, what you see here is false. That's what is a Boolean. Okay, Boolean is ideally when we select only one out of the two options. That is yes, no, true, false. Okay, true, false, on, off, or in fact 1, 0. Alright, this kind of combinations, if you say I want to be one of them. Alright, so true and false, this is what it returns. अच्छा, आप चाहते तो ये ऐसे भी रन कर सकते थे. Say document.write. Okay, let me print it this way. Boolean. Could you say this? People, directly using the Boolean function, and inside passing this expression as argument to the Boolean. See what it returns back. Pass the condition as argument to Boolean. Boolean is an inbuilt function here. People, try to pass this expression as argument to Boolean. Say I pass it as 4 equal to 8. Correct? Is double equal to, that is used for comparison in fact. Is 4 equal to 8? I save it and I come back here. Say false. No, 4 is not equal to 8. So this is what it has written, and the use of Boolean function. Correct? Fine. 4 greater than 8. No, sorry, not. Is it less than 8? Oh yes, true. Is that okay? So this is how we make use of different comparison in the Boolean. Is that fine? This is how we make use of different comparisons inside the Boolean object. I hope you got more. But let me show you some more thing that we can try with Boolean. Any constant with Boolean is always true. Check what does that mean. And this is very helpful, especially when we write loops and conditions. Right? For example, if I say document.write, okay, Boolean 10. Now this 10 is a fixed value. People, it's a constant. ये तो fix है. Any constant is always true. So if you try to print this, it says me true. Check the last line of output. Okay, check the last line. So even if I write like this, say let x is equals to 25. Okay, let x is equals to 25 and print Boolean of x. What it's going to print? True or false? Is x a known value? Is x a known value or what? Is x constant or is x a known value? Yes, x is a known value. What's surprise with x? Correct? There's nothing surprising in x. X is a known value. Correct? So it returns true one more time. But if you check 0, if you put x as 0, it says false because for 0, people, the Boolean of 0 is always false. You understood? Like if I write Boolean 10, it tells me true, but if I write Boolean 0, check the second last output, that is always false. Okay, remember this way, please. Remember this way. Somewhere to save our time, I had kept one comment written. This one. Okay, let me paste it here. Check this. Hi guys, read it. The Boolean value of 0. Come on, let me see you understand what do you understand from this? The Boolean value of 0. The Boolean value of any empty string. The Boolean value of any undefined value. The Boolean value of NaN means not a number. The Boolean value of null are also false. Okay, these are all false, people. ये सब false है. All these are false. Check them one by one. So I just write let x, or instead of x, let me use y. Let y. Document.write y. Huh? Our friends who have joined us late, I hope you are understanding. Okay, Boolean of y. So what is y right now? Y is not defined. Have you assigned anything to y? No. Right? Have you assigned anything to y? No, you haven't. That means y is undefined. check what is a boolean of any undefined value. It says false. Okay, but if I define something like y is equals to India, it returns true because the anything which is defined has always the boolean value true. I hope you got it. तो आगे जाकर हम कभी भी ऐसा कंडीशन लिखते हैं if y, you understood, if y, so document dot write, it is defined, else document dot write, it is not defined. I hope you're understanding my point here, right? If y, so what is the meaning of this? That is, it is defined. You see the output here. अरे भाई क्यों बताता है it is defined? How it is actually interpreted? If y, that means if y is true. You got my point? See, we haven't written here like this because by default, if you don't check for true or false in if statement, I repeat, if you don't check for true or false, for any condition to be true or false in the if statement, by default if checks its value for true. Alright, so if y is true, yes, y is true. How come y is true? Because it is not empty, it is not undefined, and as I've written one comment up, any constant, the boolean with any constant or any defined value is always true. I hope you got my point. Correct. Fine. Similarly, if you make y as any undefined string, this is an empty string. People, do not keep space. It's an empty string. Okay, let me get rid of this if else. I don't want. It says false. Why? Because it's an empty string now. It's not defined, guys. It's an empty string. Okay. And what if I write here nan? Save. Again false because the boolean value of not a number is also false. Similarly, you want to experiment with something that is null. That is again false. Alright. So this is what we exactly want to say. The boolean value of 0, the boolean of any empty string, undefined, nulls are also false. Okay. Why are we dealing with all these? Why are we learning them? This becomes indeed helpful and become a criteria when to come out of the loop, when to give a break, or when to, what condition to give in an if. I hope you are understanding that. Is that very clear to all of us? People, I would be glad if somebody write us in the chat section. Are you understanding also or not? Is it you're typing and I'm not receiving? No, it's not like that. Okay, are these concepts clear or not? This was all about booleans. Take care. Fine. Okay, people. The time will not suffice us to start with one more object. I intended to do the date today. People, आज हम date भी करना चाहते थे, but date is a big topic. Alright. Date once started. एक बार हमने जब date start किया ना, then I will show you how to code and write digital clock on the web page. So the class tomorrow is again important. Make sure that you are here on time, so that all your doubts, in case if you have or happen to have, you can ask straight away me face to face. Is that okay? Fine. Acha, once again sharing with you that file of schedule which I had shared with you last time, people. This is what we had planned. Okay, this is what we had planned. First of all, this was one main topic coming up in JavaScript, that is the remaining part, wherein we were talking about date, math, number and boolean. Okay, out of which today we have covered up math object and boolean object, correct? Date and number we will be covering up tomorrow, along with digital clock. Is that okay? Date and boolean we will be covering up tomorrow. Okay, चलिए उसके बाद में the next day, that means tomorrow is Tuesday. So let me put it up this way now. Tuesday. Current week we are talking about. Okay, current week. Then comes Wednesday. We will be talking about what is document object model, then how does it differ from BOM, differences between all these. Okay, Thursday and Friday we are going to validation. Thursday, people, validation again is full of code. That means we will be creating a form accepting user's name, his age, his date of birth, password, confirmation password, that means one more time if it's a sign up form, and let me say, what should I do, email ID most importantly, and we'll see how to validate this text fields. I hope you got me. There are some advanced level of validations as well. For example, if I go to sign up, if I do sign up and they ask me enter your 10-digit mobile number, वो मोबाइल नंबर आपका ही है कि नहीं, how we will verify or how we will validate that. More than validation, it is under the process of verification. We might send you an OTP, correct? Acha, you enter an email address. First of all, we will check everything. @ is there, period is there, dot. Am I right? It doesn't contain any wildcard or a special character like star and all. So after all this validation is successful, email ID आपका ही है कि नहीं, if I want to cross verify, for example, so I might send you some confirmation mail, ask you to open your inbox, click on the verification link, right? So all this process comes under validation and verification. We'll see how best we can and how maximum we can try to cover up inside it. Right? Once this much part of JavaScript is over, we will go back to our pending CSS as well as Bootstrap. I hope you got my point. All of us, very soon we are going to release day-wise schedule of entire remaining web series. People, our bootcamp series, which will include right day-wise schedule of everything, that is JavaScript, Bootstrap, SQL, SQL, Python, Django, Angular, as well as React framework. Alright, okay, any question from your end? If so, then please put to us in the chat section. Okay, if no, then I would like to stop the class here itself. See you back from tomorrow. In fact, from tomorrow onwards, every day again 4 PM. People, once again. Okay, chaliye, goodbye, take care.